Hey, welcome back another day in the shop. Just want to say, thanks for joining in. I spent, this is a Saturday, so Thursday, a bunch of us for work went, I live in Tennessee, about an hour's drive from Nashville. And I work in Nashville, and our offices weren't hit, but they lost power, so we've been working from home. But that whole area, they call it Germantown. It's like this whole zip code in Nashville. It got hit, it got hit pretty bad, but not as bad as what Putnam County, which is a few counties away. That's where most people got killed. Anyway, we all wanted to go help, and company I work for, they're big into doing community service and helping people out. And a bunch of us, there's probably close to 20 of us from just my department that was in, went down. And our director, she kind of organized it, and then we joined a group called Gideon's Army. And they broke us up into 3 groups. Some of us had chainsaws. I took mine. Another guy took his, and then there was a bunch of other people there. Chainsaws, and then some of the younger, more spry guys, they put on a group of them on tarp duty to cover the houses that keep from leaking before the next rain. Put tarps on them all. So I had my chainsaw. So they broke us up into 2 groups, and we had our chainsaw group and another. They combined our team in with some volunteer fire departments from Williamson County. Sorry, I had long sleeve shirt on. It's getting cold in the shop. I fired the forge up. Brought it up about 8 or 9 degrees in here, from 40 degrees Fahrenheit to almost 50 from what I can tell. Anyway, what I was talking about before is that they combined us up with Williamson County Williamson County Fire Department, some volunteers that were there, and there was a lot of lawn care volunteers. And I bet you in that it was a subdivision type area, but it was real old houses. And one of the young guys there that was a fire department, he was just like, "Oh no, Williamson County Hospital got his first case of coronavirus." I guess it's the first case we've had in Tennessee, and of course, he's a fire department, so he's going to have in that county, so he's going to be taking people in and out, and he's got to really worry about it. I live a couple counties away from that and out in the country, so hopefully I can. Well, better imagine not like it's going to fly here, but you get around people when you go to work or go to the stores and everything else. So anyway, so there's a lot of damage there. We first got there, and they took us over. We met in one area at the headquarters, or what do you want to call it, for Gideon's Army. And what Gideon's Army is, let me say real quick, it was organized, and there was a guy that my director, she had met and talked to, that worked with him, and he had been in prison for 20 years. And back then, when he was in prison, it was basically a lot of drug use, and used to have a 3 strikes and you're out law here, and he got hit with that, and he had a life sentence the rest of his life, and he served 20 years of that, and then the law was repealed, I think, or something happened. I don't remember when and where it happened, but he got out, and he wanted to do some good. And I don't know if this was the guy that started Gideon's Army. He just worked there. I'm not real sure. But what Gideon's Army does is that area of Germantown, they call it, and maybe some of the other area parts of it, it's just a whole zip code. And that whole zip code is known for having the young people there going from dropping out of school to being in prison is the highest rate in our entire nation, from what they told us. And so it's pretty bad. A lot of drugs, a lot of things going on, and it wasn't like where we went wasn't like a bunch of project buildings that were just all lined up. It was just all these subdivisions with all these small homes, and it was old subdivisions, so I had lots of old big trees, And of course, areas, just like any tornado, some areas everything got flattened, in other areas, this might have blew off a shingle or two. But there were some of these big trees just landed on roofs. Some of them just landed on the roof and just ripped whole parts of the roof off. Some of them, most of the roof was gone. Other things were laid out. We get into this video. I'll try to incorporate a few pictures that I took. And like I said, I had my chainsaw and we had our 20 and we joined up, and we did one house and we cut a bunch. There's a few, I'll show some chainsaw pictures of me cutting a few trees just because I don't have permission from the other people. Try to pick some shots that really can't distinguish faces in. And then there's some other shots in there that you can see a big backyard, a lot of grass, a lot of people just walking back and forth in it. That one, when we first got there, you couldn't walk back there. It was just solid trees. And we just cut and cut and cut. I bet you there was, in that 1 yard, I bet there was over 20 chainsaws going. And there must have been 50 people carrying stuff from the back to the front until we filled. It was a small front yard, but from the street over the sidewalk all the way back almost to the house, they filled it up with tree trunks, chunks of trunks and limbs and everything else to try to be picked up. And time we got done, that pile had to be close to 10 feet tall over the entire front yard. Just that one house. And then you look down the street and there's this house after house after house after house like that. And just power lines. I don't know how the power company straightens that mess out. The power lines were broken. They weren't just laying down. They were just broken and laying and twisted, and light pole, power poles just busted off. But there were so many volunteers. I mean, that's why I call Tennessee the volunteer state. There were so many volunteers and so many people trying to help. I bet anything that there was in that one little neighborhood we were in, there'd probably close to 1,000 people there. Every street had cars parked along the lines both ways, and we parked way over in another parking lot and walked all the way over. And there was only one lane going through, and that was this constant flow of traffic of people coming in and going out and taking stuff. People setting up in front of houses, giving away food to the workers and the family members, because none of them had power and water. I don't know if they have water or not, but none of them had power. And so there's people just set up along the sidewalks, on everything, just handing out bottles of water and something to eat, and everybody's just encouraging everybody. And I had people just walking by people. I don't know if they were homeowners or out there working, trying to do stuff, and they were just thanking us for coming out there and thanking us for helping. And it was a humbling experience. It really was, but it was devastating. And I feel sorry for the people and praying for them. And like I said, we've had 20-something, 24, 25, I forgot the number now, people got killed. So many in Nashville that they had, I forgot how many tornadoes that came down. But one of the tornadoes, I think they said one tornado was on the ground for almost 60 miles or something. And when the tornadoes that hit the Putnam County, which is like the Cookeville area of Tennessee, it's a little heading east. The tornado kind of went from west, just west of Nashville, through Nashville, and kept going east, and just almost a straight line from west to east. And when it hit Putnam County, there was some, grade 4 tornado, either one or more, I don't know. I didn't get all the details, but you've probably seen them all in the news anyway. And we had people, I guess it was congressmen or something flying over in the military. I forgot what they're called. The airplanes that turn into helicopters, the wings rotate up. I can't remember what they're called. I should know them. I'm a military brat. My dad was in the Air Force for 21 years. But anyway, they didn't have those then. And I don't even know if those are Air Force or Marine planes, I'm not sure. But they came over, lots of helicopters, lots of emergency equipment. Of course, there was cars with insurance people in it. There was cars and vehicles and bucket trucks from Nashville Electric Service, which is the electric company for that area. it's just everybody. It was just unreal. See how many people was there and going. And I just flat wore out. I mean, I was chainsawing by about 1 something in the afternoon. We started in the morning. About 1 something in the afternoon, I was just tired. And I hadn't done anything between my shoulder surgery a little year and a half ago and my hip replacement, and I hadn't done any kind of manual labor in a couple of years. And then I haven't done much after that. And I'm 60 years old. But there were people a lot older than me that were hauling limbs back and forth. And I said, I can cut. I said, it's harder on me walking because I've still got bad knees. And I said, it's harder on me walking, but I'll sit there and cut until I can't. And I finally just gave up. My knees were just barking at me. I couldn't take it much more. And so I had to walk all the way back to my truck, go over, and then take some people back over to our office where they left their cars, and then drive an hour and 15 minutes home. So, or an hour and 20, whatever it took. So it was a long day, but it was really kind of felt good. My younger daughter went with me. She wanted to go help, and people I work with actually went, a different group with the same director went back Friday after we did Thursday. They went back Friday. And then I work with a lot of people from India, and one of the guys from India, he was taking his wife and kids, and they were going to go back Saturday, which is today, and try to help some more. And so it was just really nice to see all that. But I have to now clean up my chainsaw, so I gotta get started. And it's pretty dirty, but I got an 026 with an 18-inch blade. That was one of the larger ones. You know, if you watch the YouTube channels, like if you watch like Wrangler Star, he's always joking because he's on the West Coast and they have those huge trees. He's joking about us wimpy East Coasters. And there was some small chainsaw bars. I mean, they might have had Stihl chainsaws, but they were just little homeowners probably only had a, I don't know, 12-inch bar on. But they worked great because they weren't heavy, and so they could work for hours. And there was just a lot of limbing because, you know, a whole tree comes down. And it's wintertime, there's no leaves to deal with, but whole limbs come down, and you just got limbs and limbs and limbs cut up and haul out. And so when they had bigger pieces that were, you know, I was cutting through a lot of stuff that was close to the 18-inch diameter of my blade, the length of my blade, and some that was right at the very edge. So it was just at 18 inches. I had to actually go a certain way because the other way was actually wider, so I had to come in one way because it was like an oval shaped log and sharpen, and I refill up. I ran out of fuel twice, ran it empty twice, plus a couple times I just filled it up before it ran out. So it was a lot of sawing. For me, I'm not a lumber guy, so that was just a lot of work. But I realized I needed to clean my saw up and get it serviced and things. And I keep old chains, which I had them in a 5-gallon bucket. I keep my 5-gallon bucket for carrying up when I'm doing fencing on our property or something. I just put some extra chains in there. And, you know, I try to carry a small thing of bar oil and then like a little 1-gallon thing of gas, and I put it all in a 5-gallon bucket with some fencing pliers and just anything I might need. So when I walk up in there, I got to make 20 trips back down, and I just carry it in the chainsaw. But I had all this in there, and over time it's got filled with dirt and it's all nasty. So I'm actually going to soak it in some mineral spirits in a bucket, and then I'm going to re-oil them and resharpen them. And then I'm going to work on the chainsaw and clean it up. My father, he would be turning in his grave because I do not do preventive maintenance, and he was Mr. Preventative Maintenance. He was a crew chief and jet engine mechanic on airplanes, and he was in the Air Force for 21 years, and he's passed away now 15 years ago, but he always did preventative maintenance. He had a schedule. He did everything. Everything was clean and work, and I just didn't get that gene. I'm bad. So I'm actually going to clean up my chainsaw, make my dad proud. And I'm going to try to sharpen it and get it all ready. So next time I need it, I won't have to do a lot of work. I can just grab it and go. So I'll show some of that, and then I'll show some pictures. I'll try to incorporate some pictures. They may be twisted in here because some of the pictures were taken by me, some by other people, and they have the cameras upward and sideways, and I don't have a way to change them, so I just have to put them in how they are. So anyway, here's the rest of the stuff, and I'll put the pictures at the end, and y'all have a blessed day. And keep those people in Nashville through Putnam County and Cookeville area, all the way through there. Keep them in your prayers and thoughts, and there's a lot of devastation, and it's really bad. Whole family, husband, wife, and their little baby got killed, and just one whole family was wiped off by a tornado, and other family members, multiple family members. It's just sad. So anyway, sorry to come down a sad note here, but it's just the the realistic views of disaster you have to deal with. And I wish I could go do more. Maybe I can later. I don't know how long our power's going to be out of work and stuff, and so I'll see what I can do otherwise. But y'all take care. Here's me cleaning up my chainsaw a little, and then the pictures. Bye-bye.